A warm welcome to Nationwide today. I am Mina Daniels. A Nigerian delegation led by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Tuga, held diplomatic engagements with Burkina Faso's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore, regarding a Nigerian Air Force C-130 aircraft carrying 11 personnel that had been detained in the country. The engagement resulted in the immediate release of the 11 personnel and the aircraft. Nigeria emphasized its adherence to international aviation protocols, expressed respect for Burkina Faso's sovereignty, and distanced itself from any unsubstantiated claims of maltreatment. Both sides highlighted shared security challenges and the importance of fraternal relations. This resolution underscores successful diplomacy in de-escalating a potential regional dispute. Minister Tuga subsequently met with the Freed Air Force members to confirm their well-being. The delegation and the personnel are now en route back to Nigeria. The military aircraft made an emergency landing in Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso, on December 8, 2025 due to a technical issue. Burkina Faso authorities detained the personnel and seized the aircraft, citing alleged unauthorized entry into their airspace. President is to submit the 2026 budget estimate to a joint session of the National Assembly this Friday by 2 p.m. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, read the communication just as the chamber resolved to avail the executive requests. But that story will be coming up in our subsequent bulletins. The Nigerian Governors Forum is making frantic efforts to boost security across flashpoints and other high-risk areas nationwide ahead of a safe and successful festive period and beyond. This was part of the resolutions reached at the end of the forum's 8th physical meeting in the year 2025. Correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
This is the 8th meeting of the Nigeria's Governors Forum, and the arrival of governors signals the commencement of the prolonged session that lasted several hours, with issues of security and the well-being of Nigerian citizens topping the agenda.
The forum received a communication from the Office of the National Security Advisor calling for heightened security preparedness across all states during the year 2025 festive season. This is due to increased population movements, large public gatherings, and heightened public safety risks.
Additional financing by the World Bank for the Nigerian Community Action Resilience and Economic Stimulus Program to facilitate disbursement to states to support livelihoods, food security, public works, and resilient building interventions was also at the front burner.
Governors reviewed their commitment to sustaining implementation momentum, ensuring timely reporting, and maximizing fund utilization to deliver measurable outcomes for vulnerable households.
The Nigerian Governors Forum also acknowledged the outcome of the 3rd edition of the Primary Health Care Leadership Challenge Award, which recognized 13 states for outstanding performance, with Yobe State winning the overall Best Performing State award, and promised to sustain the tempo. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Progressive Governors Forum says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has shown strong commitment in the quest to tackling security challenges affecting parts of the country and return Nigeria's economy to its glorious days. Correspondent Abubakar Akwanga once again reports.
The commitment by the APC governors came after a strategic meeting held behind closed door, with 26 out of the 28 APC governors across 36 states of the country in attendance. Chairman of the forum, Hope Uzodinma, says the measures taken to address security challenges, including the declaration of a state of emergency in the sector, were timely and reassuring for national interest.
We also, among others, resolved in strong terms to continue to support Mr. President in his attacks of leading the nation, to continue also to support in his efforts to resolve all challenges, including that of security. The progressive governors resolved last week in Lagos to do our best to support the security agencies at the level of our states, local governments and communities.
The governor of Imo State also launched various interventions across critical sectors of the economy and assured Nigerians that the forthcoming caucus and National Executive Committee meetings billed for Thursday and Friday this week would further strengthen the party. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
In line with government's drive to reduce operational costs, eliminate delays caused by physical fouls, while promoting environmental sustainability and enhance service for Nigerian youth, the Federal Ministry of Youth Development has launched its fully digital paperless system ahead of federal government's 31st December deadline. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, D.D. Esther Watson-Jack, while unveiling the OneGov ECM's platform, noticed that adopting paperless system is central to building a modern, responsive and results-driven civil service which aligns with present administration's agenda that prioritizes efficiency and results-driven governance.
I'm pleased to announce that the ministry has therefore successfully achieved 100% compliance and score in its
Secretary, Minister of Youth Development, Dr. Miriam Kashiro, assures that the ministry will take advantage of the platform to accelerate decision-making and strengthen accountability in the delivery of youth-focused programs.
Information silos to collective intelligence. Our programs, data, and policy documents will now converge on a single secured platform, enabling smarter, data-driven decisions for Nigerian youth. We're also moving from resource drain to green and lean efficiency. We are committed to significant cost saving and environmental responsibility by drastically reducing our paper footprint.
The initiative is one that supports Pillar 5 of the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2021-2025. An application by the former Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, to obtain bail from correctional custody has been granted by a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Gwarimpa in Abuja. Ruling on the application filed by the applicant's lawyer, Patrick Ikweto, Presiding Judge Justice Miriam Aliyu Hassan admitted Ngige to the same administrative bail conditions on self-recognizance earlier granted to him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Also, he is to produce a Federal Civil Service Director to stand as surety for him, and the surety must have landed property in the FCT. Since he is still presumed innocent, Ngige is to remain in Kuje correctional custody until he meets the conditions attached to his bail.
The court said that he should apply and get his own international passport again. And once that is done, he will deposit that with the court, and the surety's own will be returned to the surety.
The former minister is in court on an 8-count charge of alleged contract fraud to which he had pleaded not guilty. The matter has been adjourned to January 28 and 29, 2026 for continuation of the substantive trial. The federal government has announced a new approach to public communication, shifting from reliance on periodic press briefings to direct structured engagement with service delivery ministries to ensure Nigerians clearly understand ongoing reforms and their benefits. the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, during a strategic visit to the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, says the measure becomes inevitable in view of the steady progress of the renewed hope agenda across ministries, departments, and agencies. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Effective communication of government activities enhances public trust. In order to tell good stories, the government storyteller believes the new strategy, in addition to the traditional ministerial press briefings, will add value to information flow and boost credibility.
There is a need for us to identify key ministries and go to them and learn more about what they do. It's not just to wait for them or invite them for the periodic ministerial press briefing that we hold at Radio House.
Health, they say, is not only wealth, but central to development. The Ministry of Health and Social Welfare was the first port of call where the government image promoter took his first dose of information directly from those driving the renewed hope reform policies in the health sector.
You and your agencies can help tell more of the story of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's successes in health is so critical, and I think that's the wisdom that the President had in prioritizing health transformation out of his renewed hope agenda.
This is very, very good initiative. I think that for us in the health sector, because most of the time what we do are not physical. When you give 14 million people immunization, it's not physically seen. And people may not appreciate it when compared to doing 20 kilometers of road. Or, so we deeply appreciate this visit, which helps us to push out these things that we're doing.
And we want to say thank you, Honorable Minister, for coming. You have come to the right place. Coordinating Minister and the Minister of State, alongside the top management, which includes all heads of agencies, have done quite a lot in the last 2 years under the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. And I'm very sure that your visit here today, after you leave, sir, you would want to come back because there's so much to give you about the health sector.
The minister was accompanied by heads of relevant agencies under his watch, who are at the forefront of redefining government communication and ensuring that Nigerians fully understand ongoing reforms in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
We head to Lagos now, where Adejoke is standing by with stories making the rounds from that end. Hello, Adejoke.
Nigerian Customs Service Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command has handed over undeclared foreign currencies valued at 2.2 billion naira seized from an Austrian citizen to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for further investigation. Joe Bukwola reports that the seizure is part of anti-money laundering efforts of the customs to sustain Nigeria's removal from the Financial Action Task Force grey list.
The undeclared foreign currencies seized from the Austrian citizen is among the largest chunk of undeclared foreign currencies seized this year. Briefing the media on the confiscated undeclared foreign currencies, Comptroller Airport Command Nigeria Customs Service Chidi Nwokorie says the currencies, which are in dollar and euro denominations, were intercepted on Saturday 13th December 2025 when the suspect, an outbound passenger, was on his way to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, through the departure Terminal 2, having failed to declare the foreign currencies in excess of $10,000. He was apprehended after a search on his luggage revealed a large amount of foreign currencies.
Kavlak, unknown, an Austrian national, was asked if he had any currency to declare, and he said no, he didn't. However, after conducting a search, the amount 651,505 euros and 800,575 US dollars. When converted to naira, this amounts to almost 2.2 billion naira was found in his traveling bag. This interception aligns with the laws and acts which empower and confer on the Nigerian Customs Service the right to prevent illicit financial flows and ensure strict implementation of anti-money laundering obligations at all borders.
The foreign currencies, the suspect and his confiscated passports and other travel documents were handed over to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for further investigation. Adejumo Richard from EFCC Lagos Office 2, who received the confiscated currencies and other documents, assured that thorough investigation will be carried out. While it is not an offense to travel with foreign currencies in excess of $10,000, failure to disclose such funds remains a financial crime. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
The federal government is reassuring the Nigerian Navy of full support as it intensifies efforts to strengthen the nation's blue economy and enhance safety within the maritime domain. Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawale reiterated this at the Nigerian Navy Ceremonial Sunset 2025 held at the Naval Dockyard in Lagos. Diana Ajale reports.
After several months of displaying professionalism on the sea, next is the Navy Ceremonial Sunset, incorporating parade elements while honoring fallen sailors and respect to serving members for their sacrifices, including lowering of national flag at the waterfront. Highlighting various successes recorded by the Nigerian Navy, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, charged officers and men of the Nigerian Navy to ensure sustainability.
We must be mindful of the tasks ahead and ensure that the Navy remains committed to our statutory role of protecting the nation's maritime domain.
Minister of State for Defense praised the strategic readiness of the Nigerian Navy.
The Navy play a major role in supporting Nigeria's economy, and the federal government will continue to give you the support and the funding you need to strengthen blue economy and promote national development.
Our ports, coastline, inland waterways, and maritime economy depend every single day on your gallantry and professionalism.
Deserving officers who have completed a minimum of 6 months of continuous sea command and accumulated at least 1,000 hours while underway were honored in the course of the program. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continue.
Welcome to Maiduguri. Now, the Borno State's Independent Electoral Commission, BOSAIC, has presented certificates of return to newly elected local government chairmen, formally marking the conclusion of the local council elections in the state. Tina Turu reports.
The presentation of certificates confers legal authority on the elected chairman to assume office and begin governance, while also reflecting the success, credibility, and transparency of the electoral exercise, reinforcing democratic continuity at the grassroots, placing a responsibility on the elected officials to govern inclusively. Chairman of BOSAIC, Tahiru Shetima, noted that the presentation of certificates officially brings the electoral process to an end, producing a new set of elected council chairmen alongside others returned for a second term in office, describing the exercise as a journey marked by commitment, dedication, and determination made possible through the support of the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, the Commission, and other key stakeholders.
This election that we conducted is one of the freest, fairest in the annals of history of elections at the state levels.
Tahiru Shetima called on the elected chairman to run inclusive administrations at the grassroots, prioritizing the common good of the people and promoting unity and development in their council. The ceremony marks a new chapter for local governance in Borno State as the elected chairman prepared to assume office with renewed responsibility to serve the people. In Maiduguri, Tina Toro, NTA News.
The two-day technical stakeholders dialogue on the Tax Reform Act 2025, organized as part of the annual Tax Week, has successfully come to a close with far-reaching resolutions on how Borno State can effectively key into the new federal tax reforms scheduled for implementation in January 2026. Abubakar Musa reports.
The conclusion of the two-day dialogue provided participants with a clearer understanding of the rationale behind Nigeria's comprehensive tax overhaul. Key objectives of the reforms include simplifying the tax system, broadening the tax base, and reducing the burden on low-income earners and small businesses. During the sessions, categories of individuals and organizations expected to pay tax, as well as those exempted, were clearly outlined. Participants actively sought clarifications, asking questions aimed at ensuring proper compliance and avoiding deviations in the discharge of their civic responsibilities. Issues such as building sustainable trust between tax authorities and the general public, taxpayers' rights and obligations, and the application of anti-corruption and accountability mechanisms also featured prominently among the key recommendations at the closing session.
I thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, for giving us support and encouragement.
Without tax, government cannot be able to deliver the services it has promised to its citizens.
The two-day technical stakeholders dialogue has provided a practical blueprint for the successful implementation of Nigeria's new tax laws, with expectations of positive long-term impact on the broader society. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Maiduguri. We now head back to our studio in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide. Good evening.
Thank you so much, right there. Elderly citizens in Katsina State have showered praises and encomiums on the wife of the President, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, for her financial and medical support in the spirit of the Yuletide. Mohammed Omar Ajenge reports that a handsome cash donation was doled out to each individual by the wife of the governor of Kaduna State, Hajia Hafsat Sani, on behalf of the First Lady to celebrate Christmas and the New Year.
Some of the senior citizens arrive with one medical challenge or another. That is why the program begins with free medical checkups and the distribution of medicines. Before many of them, including Reverend Joshua Modu, step into the hall to receive the cash support.
Government, they are caring for elderly people. This is my first time to witness such like this. I thank God.
The wife of the Kaduna State Governor, Hafsat Ubasani, represented here by the Commissioner of Business Innovation, presented the cash assistance to the senior citizens on behalf of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu.
Total sum to be disbursed is 1,900 million naira as approved by the governing board of the Renewed Hope Initiative. As we approach the festive season, it is crucial to emphasize the importance of prioritizing our elderly citizens in our initiatives.
Several beneficiaries here, like Reverend Joshua Modu, described the support as the first government intervention they have received in their lifetime.
I have never experienced anything like that. This is my first time to receive something from PICOM.
With Christmas and other festive seasons fast approaching, the elderly beneficiaries express gratitude. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Murajingi, NTA News.
In another batch of extending her love and kindness to the Abuja Muslim and non-Muslim community, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has again donated 500 bags of 50 kg rice to be shared through the Abuja National Mosque. Abdullahi Ajia reports.
Nigeria's First Lady consistent provision of food and consumables in recent time is being commended as beneficiaries and managers of the distribution during another phase of the philanthropic and humanitarian gesture, described it as unprecedented and a restoration of hope to those in need, which holds great spiritual reward and social benefits.
Really, we have not for a very long time seen anything like this coming from the apex office in the country. The Muslims are very happy. We are very grateful to Her Excellency for this gesture, to think of the less privileged in the society, not to forget the places of worship where the needy and the destitute are always around.
One after another, under a coordinated and smooth process, everyone with an access card got a 50 kg bag of rice.
I want to appreciate her. I'm a Christian, but I'm one of the beneficiaries of these gifts she has been given.
Even last year, I received. I'm happy with the government, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, may Allah protect us, been Walimu Wakil, the wife, all of them.
The Mosque Distribution Committee says the First Lady's acts of kindness is exemplary and affecting lives and families positively and should be emulated. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
Let's now join Abdullahi live for more on the First Lady's philanthropic gesture to the Muslim community. Hello, Abdullahi. You're on.
Live here at the National Mosque, Abuja. Of course, the National Mosque serves as a center of refuge for Muslims, and it has demonstrated that in recent time, considering the support the mosque and the Muslim community has been receiving from Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Of course, this assistance started since last year, and in batches, the Muslim community, has continued to receive assistance from the First Lady, especially food and consumables. Just recently, we saw the donation and distribution of 600 bags of rice with 200 gallons of cooking oil, which was fairly distributed to those in need. And just yesterday, another batch came in, and it was also distributed 500 bags of rice. And we also learned from the chairman of the National Mosque Distribution Committee that another one has also been signaled for them to receive and also distribute them accordingly. But one important thing that we must emphasize here, for those who know the First Lady, especially through her Renewed Hope initiative, this is something that is not new to what Nigerians are experiencing. Now, the Muslims, from what we gathered, are very, very happy and appreciative of this gesture, especially at a time they feel it is timely and also is going to help them cushion the effects of the economy. Now, apart from that, if you look at it also from the humanitarian, spiritual angle, it is one important thing that also scholars have said that people should emulate in order to reduce the challenges in the country.
Abdullahi, awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate. All right, moving on. President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the passing of Chief Michael Abiodun, a prominent businessman, industrialist, and philanthropist. The chairman of the popular Mycom Wires and Cable Company and proprietor of Mycom Golf and Resort in Ada, Osun State, died at the age of 86. In a statement, President Tinubu describes the late Bonle as a visionary and an accomplished professional who made significant contributions to the engineering industry and Nigeria's economic development. He extends his heartfelt condolences to the Bonle family, the management and staff of Mycon Engineering, and the friends and professional associates of the deceased. The wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has commiserated with the government and people of Bayelsa State over the demise of the state's deputy governor, late Senator Lawrence Ehojakbo, praying God to grant strength and comfort to the bereaved family. A condolence message was delivered by the wife of the vice president, Hajia Nana Fatima Shetima, during a condolence visit to Bayelsa State. Governor Doyeduri, correspondent Timini Pri Ohia, reports.
Following the demise of the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, late Senator Lawrence Ehojakbo, the state has continued to receive sympathizers at the government house, Yenokwa. Among those who paid condolence visits was the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Represented by the wife of the Vice President, she led a high-powered delegation, Comptroller General of Customs Bashiru Adewale Adeniyi, alongside service commanders in the state.
We are all with you at this trying time and with the bereaved family. We pray God Almighty Allah to grant you comfort, to strengthen you and the family, most especially the widow and her children. Your Excellency, kindly accept our sincere condolences on behalf of our mother.
In every public event, and the whole of Bayelsa knows this, I've always referred to him as my ever-supportive, workaholic, and resourceful deputy governor. There is so much to say about Lawrence. Bayelsa has lost a son.
The governor further directed the Commissioner for Information to ensure that the proverbs and notable sayings of the late deputy governor are properly documented in his honor. Siminopri, Ohia, NTA News.
The smuggling of migrants is a big business, with criminal networks charging large sums of money to facilitate the movement of people in and out of countries. In Nigeria, agencies like NAPTIP, UN Office on Drugs and Crime, among others, are putting procedures in place to curb the trend, including sensitization of the public in this regard.
There are regular channels to travel. As a matter of fact, regular migration is something that is encouraged. We have been migrating since the world came about, and most of the achievements that we have had in the world and in our country are as a result of good migration. So if you want to migrate, look at the proper channels. Have your passport, your visas, have the advice of the Ministry of Labor if you are migrating to work. If you're migrating to have an education, look at the authorities and find advice that will help you to migrate regularly.
Katsina State Governor Diko Umar Rada has inaugurated the Katsina State Council of Emirs at the Government House. Awal Haliru reports.
The Katsina State Council of Emirs has members to include all kingmakers in Katsina and Daura Emirates, the secretary to the government of the state, among other members. In his inaugural address, Governor Rada outlined the council's core functions to include advising the state government on matters of culture, security, and community cohesion.
Relating to Islamic law, customary law, cultural affairs, and inter-communal relationship and chieftaincy matters. Relating to maintenance of public order, peace, security within the state, and any part thereof, whenever requested to do so. Assist the tax authority in collection of tax. Assist the government in conservation of forest and environmental protection, preservation of cultural heritage, promotion and preserving of traditional values.
Governor Rada acknowledged the contribution of traditional rulers to the progress of the state. In Katsina, Awal Halaru, NTA News.
The federal government has reopened the 47 Unity colleges closed earlier this month, reaffirming its commitment to student safety and education continuity. Security measures have been strengthened and academic activities have resumed. Students are back on campus, concluding December programs or completing exams. The ministry assures parents and the public that student safety remains a top priority. The government is working with security agencies to maintain stability and normalcy in schools. It emphasizes human capital development and education as key to national growth, determined to prevent academic disruptions. The Federal Minister of Education thanks parents, school admins, and students for their cooperation and reiterates its commitment towards a secure, stable education system. Ondo State continues to contend with water scarcity as many residents face inadequate supply, long distances to water supplies, and increased health risks. In response, the state government, in collaboration with the federal government, is embarking on major projects aimed at reviving and expanding water distribution networks in Ondo State. Toy Batire reports.
Water, according to research, is essential to human existence, supporting nearly all bodily functions. Yet, many residents are increasingly forced to rely on self-help measures to access water for domestic use, including private boreholes and alternative sources. Investigations, however, show that a large number of residents in Ondo State still struggle daily to access clean and safe water, depending on public taps provided by well-meaning individuals and dung wells, boreholes, and in some cases, untreated water sources.
Due to the dry season, there is difficulty of water in our environment at Ajipo.
We have to drive our car to this place to fetch water. If government can supply us, provide us borehole, so we'll be happy.
In response to these challenges, the state government says it is intensifying efforts to improve access to potable water through the revitalization of water infrastructure and sustainable partnerships.
This project will ensure that taps that have run dry for too long will flow again with reliability, with purity, and with dignity.
Meanwhile, the state government has restated its commitment to providing counterpart funding for water projects, assuring residents that access to piped water will be expanded across the state by 2027, in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In Nakure, Toyin Batire, NTA News.
Let's now head to Enugu Network Center, where Chika Okore is standing by with reports from that end. Hello, Chika.
And this is Enugu Network Center. To improve early prevention, detection, diagnosis, and treatment of cancer, the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment has trained healthcare professionals on the application of artificial intelligence in handling cancer cases across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. The training in Enugu took place at the oncology section of the University Teaching Hospital, Ituku, Ozala. In a bid to tackle the growing burden of cancer in Nigeria, the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, NICRAT, launched a nationwide capacity building program on artificial intelligence applications in cancer care. The Director General of NICRAT's representative said AI application in cancer care is crucial in improving diagnostic accuracy, support personalized treatment, and enhance patients' outcomes.
The role of artificial intelligence in cancer treatment is crucial, and we are eager to explore this possibility in Nigeria. This capacity building program aims to equip healthcare professionals with the skills and knowledge necessary to utilize artificial intelligence in cancer prevention, diagnosis, and treatment.
The initiative is expected to usher in a new era by encouraging collaboration, improving survival rates, and quality of life for Nigerians living with cancer.
It helps us in precision, because when you do that machine planning or artificial intelligence, when it cuts for you, it's more precise.
AI is supposed to make our work easier and faster. So my expectations today is to know about integration of AI in radiation and clinical oncology, especially in the treatment planning.
Most of them, they feel that cancer is the end of the world. But with the use of artificial intelligence in the care of these patients, it will help to at least make them believe.
The 3-day capacity building will train 90 healthcare practitioners on how to leverage on the latest technology to advance cancer care in Nigeria. In today's fast-changing digital world, leadership is no longer defined by position or title alone, but by competence, adaptability to technology, and the ability to inspire productivity in oneself and others. These were the key submissions of speakers at the 2025 Southeast Youth Leadership Impact Summit, organized by Youth Initiatives for Leadership and Rural Development in Enugu. The program, held in partnership with the National Youth Council of Nigeria Southeast Zone and themed Developing Personal Leadership Competence and Capability in a Digital World for Managing and Enhancing Productivity, exposed participants to the urgent need to embrace digital literacy or risk being left behind in today's fast-evolving world. The patron of the initiative and former Minister of Power identified active involvement in the production sector, effective networking, cybersecurity awareness, and digital literacy as critical tools for growth and sustained relevance in the modern era.
Digital IQ has become so important nowadays that without it, you cannot even interact with your peers.
Other speakers at the summit stressed that leadership without professionalism is an abuse of trust and often driven by selfish interests, urging young people to be purposeful, impactful, and guided by strong moral values.
Leadership is about responsibility. It's not just a title, it's a responsibility about service. And you have to discharge that responsibility without selfishness.
We have a 10-year plan to make sure by the next 10 years, all these young ones in the Southeast, all of them will go digital. Two, all the young boys in the South who are not doing something will find something doing.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdullahi Dambos, represented by the Zonal Director, NTA Enugu Network Center, was honored alongside other distinguished personalities for their immense contribution to youth development and positive transformation in the Southeast and Nigeria at large.
Thanks for joining us again. The People's Democratic Party has restated commitment to unity, reconciliation, and internal democracy as it intensified preparations for the 2027 general elections. This position was at the 83rd meeting of the Board of Trustees, BOT, of the party, with the newly elected members of the National Working Committee. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The Bauchi State Governor's Lodge in Asokoro, Abuja, hosted the meeting between the Senator Adolphus Wabara-led Board of Trustees and the Kabiru Turaki-led National Working Committee. It's the first meeting between the two organs of the PDP after the Ibadan Elective National Convention. BOT assured the NWC of full support, stressing that the party must place unity above all as it called on aggrieved members to return to the fold.
The signs are clear. The party is being repositioned. Structures are being strengthened. And confidence is being restored across the Federation.
We made mistakes of waking up from the slumber. We are now ready to correct those mistakes.
Addressing concerns over recent defections, the organs urged party members not to be discouraged. In another development, the Bauchi State PDP Caretaker Committee, loyal to the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike's faction, at a media briefing after its meeting in Abuja, has tendered apologies to the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, for the perceived embarrassment and inconvenience caused him by the perceived deliberate actions of the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Senator Bala Mohammed, who allegedly orchestrated the refusal to sell nomination forms to him ahead of the party's national convention in Ibadan, Oyo State.
The committee further confirms and affirms its absolute loyalty and gratitude to the national leader of the party, His Excellency Barrister Ezenyo Nyesom Wike.
The Fractional Caretaker Committee called on party members and the public not to be deceived by the activities of some individuals holding meetings with former governors, ministers, or members of the National Assembly. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And as the Hamilton season and Yuletide approach, the Federal Fire Service is reviewing preparedness to prevent fire outbreaks and improve response. Victor Azu reports.
The dry winds have set in just as festive activities increase. Both come with increased risk of fire outbreaks across the country. In a virtual meeting with all zonal controllers, the Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Samuel Olumode, reviews preparedness levels and operational plans stressing the need for constant readiness during the Harmattan and holiday period.
Number one, all our operational men, there's a standing rule: no leave, no break. You must be on duty during this period.
Beyond response, the emphasis is on prevention. The Controller General urges the public to take extra care with electrical appliances, open flames, and fuel storage, reminding Nigerians that most fires during the season are avoidable.
Leaving all electrical appliances unattended to, even some leaving cooking unattended to in the kitchen. This festive period, there will be a lot of cooking. Nigerians should be careful and don't leave their things, food, unattended to.
As the Yuletide approaches, the service says vigilance, quick response, and public awareness will be key to keeping homes, markets, and public spaces safe. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Let's now join Bright Abuja for the latest in the world of sport. And that's nationwide for today. Many thanks for your company. I am Mina Daniels.